Hello, welcome to my web scraping event. Here we'll be looking how to extract data from websites so you can use it in your project. For this, we'll be using Beautiful Soup 4. Kind of works like a JSON library parser. Have you ever worked with those? In order to do that, we will parse it using XML, and we need to use the request library to get those URLs. Starting off, there is a GitHub page that you can use. It includes the source file that we'll be basically programming, so you can start check out that if you want to see how it works. There's also a Jupyter notebook file. If you know how to use Jupyter notebook file, it's just basically a notebook that allows you to write Python code and execute it inside there as well. And that basically runs the tutorial that I will be explaining today. If you don't know how to open a Jupyter file, there is an HTML file that you can open. Just download it. Download this. Well, if you open up if you just clone the repository and just open it through here, I don't know why it's not downloading. I guess I'll open it with a live server. It'll basically run through the code that I'm going to explain today. So getting started, let's start off by making a new folder here. Actually, I'll show you what the project does first. So what you could use web scraping for is, like, say if you have a product that you want to be notified when it comes in stock, you could write a web scraping application that would scrape, let's say, every 10 minutes and then notify you if something is finally in stock. What is that thing that I want to be notified when it's in stock? Well, none other than RTX cards. So let's show you what this does. It grabs, goes to Memory Express, and it checks through all of the cards and tells you the name, price, along with its availability. So main.py. It does take a couple nanoseconds to run, and it will provide you with the name of the product, the price of it, and its inventory. The way I displayed this chart here is by using Pandas, Pandas data frame. I will be teaching that by the end of this workshop, so don't worry too much about that right now. Let's start off by trying to grab the first three elements that we know of: product, price, and stock. Before we can do any of this, we actually need to install the libraries themselves. We'll be using pip to install this. If you don't have pip available, quickly go and re-download the Python package, or actually figure out where your Python package is. So I know where mine is. If you're on Windows machine, I'm not sure if for other machines, but if you type pip into the console, it should output this. If it doesn't, then that means that your pip is not on your environment system path. In order to check that out, go and find where your Python is installed. So Python 39 scripts, and we can see that pip is right here. So I want to grab this file right here, system environment, edit environment variables, go to your path, and just basically add a new one, copy and paste that file into there, and that should allow you to use pip. In the case that doesn't work, where you can't find where your pip is installed, just try re-downloading the Python installer, and instead of installing it for yourself, install it for your entire computer. And also click the box that says add pip to environment path. So what we need to do is actually install all the libraries that we'll be using. So we want to install BS4, which stands for Beautiful Soup 4. Oh, it's installed. Yeah. That should download itself. Pip install request and pip install lxml. Okay, now that you have all those things installed, Let's actually make sure that they are installed correctly by trying to import them into your console or your interpreter or your um, file. So let's see that if make sure it runs script py. I'm missing license. Invalid text. Oh, from yes. And we got no errors. That's great. That just means that it is now ready to start, that the piles are installed correctly. I like to do with all my projects. Sometimes based on what you're web scraping, it could take a couple seconds to actually start. So I like to actually have a start print just to tell me that my code is actually running. So what we need to do first is grab the URL that we are using. Basically the web page that we want to web scrape from. So I'm going to go to Memory Express. Want to go for RTX 3070 cards. Head down to video cards, and I want to be scraping from this site right here. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to call it URL is equal to that. Next, what we need to do is we need to get the request library to actually grab the HTML source for us. If you don't know what the HTML source is, it's basically the source code that actually displays the contents of the web page for us. So basically this entire body of code. To do that, we can use, let's say HTML is equal to, we want to use the request library. We want to get the URL. Now, if we actually print that, what will happen is it will print the entire content of, I forgot to do text. Without that, it will just return the code that the web page gives us, but we actually want to ask for its text. And like that, we get the entire page of the website. Next, what we need to do is actually load this into Beautiful Soup, allowing us to parse it or basically grab, do certain functions for it. So let's call it soup is equal to, we want to use the Beautiful Soup library. We want to import our HTML, and we'll be using the LXML to parse it. Now with that, we can actually start manipulating, basic grabbing stuff from soup that is looking through the HTML. So the first thing that we want to look for is actually, let's go to the page. Let's right click on one of these cards right here. Right click right there. If you look here, all of these items here are located within this div container right here. If you don't really know what HTML is basically everything is inside of a folder called a div, and all these folders have attributes like classes, IDs, and stuff that we can reference from, and inside these folders are more folders, and eventually you get to the point where it actually displays information. So if we can just grab all of these things right here, we can call them as separate products and access their HTML. So basically what we want to do is we want to call the soup, use soup to grab specifically just this piece of code right here. So let's do that. We'll be needing the class tag for this so that we know where to identify. And we want to grab all of them, so we'll call products is equal to soup.findAll. We want to find all the tags that include this. What we're looking for specifically is a div tag. And then we have to pass in an object of the attributes. So it has the class attribute, and the class is equal to that. Now with this, it'll allow us to grab all of those. So let's print that. Let's see what we get. Okay. Oh, well, you can see right there, one of them is the prices. So, and we're at the very end, so you know that this actually did something. Okay, now we can actually start trying to grab specific elements from the body. So actually, let's go here. So we're gonna right click on this. Oh, where am I? Here we are. So let's try starting by grabbing the name of the product. So we want to right click on the text, inspect. Now we can see that it's inside of a, it's not inside the span folder. This is the span div right here. It's actually the inner HTML of the link object, which makes sense. You click on the name, it redirects you somewhere. Great, so we could just pass in an A reference, right, to find it. Not exactly. Without having to like go manually go through all of these items, we can't just specify an A. Like if I click on the image, it's going to redirect to the same page, but I don't want the image. I want the inner HTML of the text itself. So these are two different links. So I can't grab the A tag. Well, it has an href right here. So like what it's referring to. I don't want to use that because later on what I want to do is I want to be able to write a for loop that will run through all of these things. So I can't do that because I believe that this href is different for all of them. So I can't use that. What I can do is I can grab the thing above it. Oh, I can grab the thing above it. So I can grab, I know that this A element is currently inside of a product, a div element called body name. Now I'm just going to guess that this probably isn't used anywhere else. That would be probably pretty bad coding on the website if it did. So I'm going to use, I'm going to just grab this div element, which will extract this piece of code right here. Then I will run it again, but using the A element this time. And then I want to grab the inner HTML for this. So let's do that. So I want to copy that. Let's do it again. So let's just do it for one product right now. Product is equal to, let's just grab the first product in this list. Find. We're looking for a div element with the class attribute called that. Let's see what that prints. Product. Great. So now I can just, now I have that piece of code. Now I just want to use soup to grab the inner HTML of the A reference. Very easy. What I can do is product is equal to, I'm actually going to rename this to a product name, just so it's easier. So product name, I can just reuse the same thing. Find, and I just want to find an A tag. And I want to grab the text from it, the inner HTML text. Let's see what that gives us. Nice. Now this website has a lot of weird stuff going on here. It's adding a lot of new lines and a lot of spaces. This can be really easily fixed with the regular expressions library. If you don't know what regular expressions is, if you have taken 313, it's basically that, where you're looking for a part of the string that matches a piece of code that you write in. So I'm not sure exactly why it does this, but it's a pretty easy fix if you know regular expressions. I honestly don't really know regular expressions that well, but um, there are a lot of online regular expression interpreters out there. Regex101.com is really nice. I like using it. So what we can do is we can grab this piece of code right here, this piece of text right here, paste it in there. Now we write a regular expression and we want to highlight all of the parts that we don't need. I specifically already know what regular expression is. I want to basically grab every new line in addition to lines with spaces that are greater than 1. Is that what it does? I don't know. I honestly don't know regular expressions that well, but I know this one works. So it will grab all of the white text here, and what we can do is we can replace that with just an empty string, and that should just give us the text that we want. In order to do this, you have to install the... Actually, I think Python comes with regular expressions already. If it doesn't, just pip install re, I guess. I'm not sure. But I didn't really need to install it. I don't remember installing it using pip, so I think it just comes prepackaged. So import re. Re stands for regular expressions. And then we can use a regular expression to fix it. So we can just replace this. Product name is equal to re.sub. We want to use the regex library, and we want to do a substitution. Input our string that we are using. What is it called? Our regular expression. We're going to replace it with an empty string, and we are going to input the product name. Let's print that out. Nice. Nicely formatted now. Okay, this is great and all, but we don't want to find just one product. We want to find all the products. So let's put this in a for. So for products and products. So we want to loop through all of them, and we want to grab product. So let's check that out. For product. Oh, missing colon. Nice. And just like that, we have the title of every card on Memory Express's website of the RTX 3070 variety. Next thing we want to do is let's grab the price. It's very much the same thing. We go on the website, we right-click on the price, we do inspect elements. I'm actually on the wrong site. What? Not too much of a problem. It uses Ajax, so all of the web pages are similar. That's actually a great thing to mention as well. Sites that implement Ajax, I think it's Ajax, or basically all the products sites, like if I go here or I go to the main page, they basically reuse these title cards for everything, and they use the same class names. You can, most of the time, what you can do is you can just grab like a random part of the site. Like I'll show you right now. I can go onto the homepage of the website, and it'll actually like give me all the products that are on the homepage. That's a great thing to know as well. If you want to like say, oh, I want to like search, let's say if this site had more than one page to it, then I could like, I think most of the times there would be like an identification telling what page it is based on the URL parameters. But back to what I was talking about. Oh, shoot. 370. So I want to right click on the price, inspect element. Let's see where it's at. Okay, so it is inside a class called summary list. I don't think this is used anywhere else, so I can just grab that. And looking at it already, I'm going to have to reuse the regular expression to fix its formatting. I can just write this in the for loop. So product price is equal to product find. We were looking for a div of attribute, a class attribute. That. And I think I need to grab the text from it. Yeah, because it's I want to just grab the inner HTML. Then we can do a substitution again. I'm just going to recopy this code. Nice. And just like that, using the defining tag, same that we did up here, we are now able to grab the price of it as well. One last thing to do is grab this out of stock logo. Let's see where it is. It is in a class called body inventory. You already know what the job is. Product inventory is equal to product find div class body inventory. Do I need to? It doesn't look like I need to, but you know, I'll do it anyways. It doesn't really mess up the code if I perform regular expressions on it or not. Oh, grab the text. I want to grab an HTML from that. Nice. Okay. Now here's a big problem. I don't know if you guys saw it or know about it, but let's go back to the main site, the main page here. All of these items are in stock, but the thing is they don't have the tag indicating they're out of stock or available. That means that if we were to perform this piece of code on this website from the homepage, it will give us an error. The error being that there is no HTML class element of a div called body inventory. How do we fix this? Very easily, a try and catch statement. What this could do later, cause a problem later on, is once there is a product that is available, what will end up happening is it will be available. There won't be a tag here. It tries to look for it inside of this card, and then it realizes, oh, it's not there, crash. Exhaustive search. Very easily, just make a try and catch statement for it. So I want to make a product inventory. I want to initialize it to just an empty string. I want to do a try and accept. In the case that it is not able to find it, that means it's not able to find the out of stock tag. That means it's available. Nice. This is still the home page. Now we have things that are in stock, not giving us an error. We still need this page though. And just like that, we are basically done the data extraction part of it. But this looks pretty ugly and it's going to be very painful to perform operations on. So what we want to do is we want to use pandas to put it inside of a data frame Pandas has a lot of table functions. You can also use NumPy if you want. NumPy works with Pandas pretty well, I think. I think Pandas is actually an extraction of NumPy. But basically, we can perform a lot more useful operations if we put this on a data frame. In order to do that, we have to install Pandas. So pip install Pandas. If you're also wondering, that's actually how I was able to make it look nice with this table here. So going back, pip install pandas. Now we want to import the library. Import pandas as PD. That's the most common abbreviation they use for it. So I'll just reuse it as well. So how do you import a data frame? How do you put it in a data frame? Well, what you need to do is you need to make it into an object. And those objects require basically every piece of the object is a column with a title to it, a dictionary essentially. In order to do that, we need to actually copy down all of these statuses because we're actually just looping over them. We're not saving them anywhere. So let's just do that. So product names plural. Now we'll just initialize them all to an empty list, and then we can append them on product prices, empty list, products inventories is equal to an empty list. Okay, and then at the very bottom here, we could just do product names dot append product name products. I'm going to end up deleting the print statements anyways. Products prices dot append product price product inventories dot append. Nice. Now that they're on the list, just make sure that we don't have any errors. Nice. Okay, now talking about that the object. So we are going to have an object called product is equal to, we have a column title of price. Let's start with name, and that will be equal to product names, a list of object names. We have price, and that will be products prices. Finally, we have stock and product inventories. And like that, we have made our thing. Remember to add commas after each one of them, and that's how we make an object. Next, we have to actually put it in a data frame. To do that, we save it as a variable. Let's call it df td using the panel library data frame, and we are going to input products. Actually, I'm just call this product tables to make it more apparent. And just like that, we are done. Print.df. Nice. Now you see here on prices, when I appended them, they added this really weird thing. I'm not really sure what that is. Could be return statements, I'm not sure. We can easily fix that with a regular expression. I want to look for this specific text, replace it with nothing, product. Nice. Let's rerun that again. Nice. Okay, now we have it inside of a data frame. I said that we could do some pretty cool operations on it, and we can. Let's say I want to find the product with the most expensive value to it. I want to find the most expensive product. In order to do that, I would need to extract this price column. All these are stored as strings. So what I need to do is I need to remove the $sign and convert it to a numeric. So before I input, I'm just going to provide a regular expression that removes the $sign. Nice. So we removed the $sign. In order to extract it, we need to just have a variable that was stored into, called prices, EF. Now we can easily just look inside of it like a list. We want to look for price. Yeah. So now that we have the price tag, we can actually print that out, and it would just print out the column of all prices. Yeah. Now what we want to do is we want to use Pandas, what is it, max function. In order to do that, we can do actually we want to do a very specific thing. First, we want to we'll just store in this variable highest price ID. I'll explain why we're grabbing the ID in a bit. Panda. So we want to first convert everything in this column to numeric because right now it's a string. So we can do prices. Now it's all it's a list of numerical numbers. Then we have to do IDX max. So in order for things to be put in, for my brief working with pandas, is it has to be all the rows have to be filled in for it to work. So if name and price were of nth length and stock was nth size and length -1, it'll actually arise an error. So all of these have a identification tag right next to it. So we're actually going to grab that. By grabbing that, we're actually going to be able to extract the row of the thing that we need from it. We can do most expensive product is equal to, we want to look at the data frame, locate, we want to find the highest priced ID. Then we can print this out. And like that, we have the most expensive product. There is a way to make this so it returns a list if there's multiple products of the same high value. I don't remember how to do that, and I didn't put it in my notes. Okay, so that's nice. Next thing that we can do is probably the most important bit if we actually wanted to figure out how to make an app that notifies us when cards are in, is we actually need to check the stock of it to extract the stock. So basically to grab a list of available cards. In order to do that, we can grab stocks from the data frame. So df dot stock. And then we can do, let's look for the ones that has stock. So has stock, we want to start in a variable. We can do df.locate. And then we can actually add a comparison operation inside of here. So we can do stocks. We want to look for where the stocks are equal to available. And just like that, you print that out and has stock. As we can see, depending on when I would have done this, right now there's nothing in stock. If I change this to out, just grab it from here just so I don't mess it up. Out of stock, it pretty much returns everything. Okay, and that's basically the extent that I will be teaching this workshop. Pandas has a lot of functionality that you can do with it. You can also use NumPy if you're familiar with that. Beautiful Soup also has a lot of other functions that I didn't go over, but I think that in most cases these find and find all are, and basically how to syntax them, are the most important things that you need to know. At the very beginning of this workshop, I told you that there is a Jupyter Notebook. For those of you who don't know what a Jupyter Notebook is it's a notebook where you can basically write code and execute it in there for Python, and also write Markdown notes alongside of it. In order to open this notebook, you have to clone my repository, which I posted in Discord. And we can go on to Jupyter Notebook to grab. I don't remember how they install it. Install Jupyter Lab. We'll be actually using this one. So just copy that. Pip install notebook, and then run Jupyter Notebook. I have already installed that, so we could just run Jupyter Notebook. That should take a second. After that, we open one of these live servers that our computer has opened up. And oh yeah, we want to open this inside of wherever your repository you cloned was. Open up this. And inside of here, we have a beautiful tutorial of basically what I went over today all the way up to Pandas. Inside of here, you can also execute code. Not sure why. Did they update it while I was gone? How do you run code? So cell, run cell, control enter. So you can go through all these things. It basically works like an interpreter. If I go all the way down to like here and execute the piece of code that like data tables, actually, like if I call on data frame before actually declaring running a piece of code containing the initialization of data frame, it will give you an error. Generally speaking, if you run this piece of code with control enter, I believe, it will initialize all the variables for you. And you can basically go through all this thing. It'll tell you which libraries to install, how to install them, which variables, and so on. And there's also, if you see a print statement here, you can run those. And I'll show you like the piece of code that I got at that point. But a lot of tutorials, pieces of code where like they're trying to explain doesn't show you is like what's the output of the code at a specific period. This will allow you to do that. If like you want to know, oh, like what's this? Oh, you extracted the text from it. What did it look like? Like, why do I need to add a piece of regular expression to it? Well, just execute this code, and then you can see like, oh no, awesome, mission accomplished. Small issue, the text is padded with a lot of spaces for some reason. So let's use regex to fix that. There is a lot of text here to run through what is happening. And I think that will be the end of the workshop. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, you learned a thing or two, and have fun in your next one. Have fun on your projects.